Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for coming to Dr. Raham's weekly meditation. I'm Daphne. Most of you know me. Hi, Lisa. I'm Daphne. Um, I'm one of the lay leaders of our meditation. Um, Everybody knows we just celebrated Rosh Hashanah. I certainly saw any number of you in shul. It was nice to see everyone. And on Sunday, we will begin our observance of Yom Kippur. I don't think this is anybody's first go around with Yom Kippur here, so I don't need to explain what the holiday is all about. But like me, I'm sure any number of you who are on social media and elsewhere have seen people requesting forgiveness and offering forgiveness. And so I was wondering, because I had a couple of situations recently, what if you can't or don't want to forgive? It's Yom Kippur. And I thought, is that even an option? So I did some looking, and as life would have it, Rabbi David Rosenfeld from Aish.com says, quote, although you feel you must forgive everyone who has hurt you, that is not really the case. Jewish law advises that we forgive specifically if a person truly regrets what they've done and comes to beg our forgiveness. If and only if that occurs, we are told to open our hearts and accept their apology. If, however, someone hurt you and doesn't care, you most certainly don't have to magically erase all your hurt and forgive them. Forgiveness comes after the apology and resolution, not before. Even if the person who hurt you does apologize, he goes on, you have the right to feel that the apology is not sufficiently sincere and heartfelt, and as a result, reject it. It is their obligation to appease you and to show that they truly understand the extent of their wrong and honestly want to make up for it. As I said, I've had a couple of interactions this year that have left me feeling very cold, and I am finding it difficult to forgive those people. But then I ask, where does that leave me? In a blog post from Temple Beth David in Cheshire, Connecticut, which is about 20 miles north of New Haven, the unidentified writer says, we learn in a midrash, a Jewish legend, that forgiveness was a necessary component of creation. This midrash teaches that when Adam and Eve ate the fruit and were ejected from the Garden of Eden, they were also forgiven by God. Rabbi David Wolpe interprets this midrash to mean that the world and its existence begins with forgiveness. Asking for forgiveness is hard, the writer continues. Finding the strength to forgive, they say, is even harder. We shouldn't blindly forgive, but we also need to make sure we are open to being forgiving. There is a story of a king who quarreled with his son. In a fit of rage, the king exiled his son from the kingdom. Years passed, and the son wandered through the world. In time, the king's heart softened, and he sent his ministers to find his son and ask him to return. When they located the young man, he said that he could not return to the kingdom. He had been too hurt, and his heart still harbored bitterness. The ministers brought back word to the king. The king told his son the following via his ministers: return as far as you can, and I will come the rest of the way. In a 1998 interview with the New York Times, author Malachi McCourt, the younger brother of Frank McCourt, said, resentment is like taking poison and waiting for the other person to die. To forgive is an act of bravery, strength, and power. We should forgive someone who has hurt or offended us, not to make them feel better, but so we can move on and get closer to being the people we want to be in this new year. Thinking about hurtful moments can be stressful. So let's take a couple of minutes before we begin to silently meditate to let go of any kind of tension that might have been stirred up by what I just said in the last few minutes. I invite everybody to take a few deep breaths. You can breathe in to a count of 3, breathe out to a count of 4. Just take a couple of deep breaths together. 1, breathe in and breathe out. Again, breathe in and breathe out. And 1 more. Breathe in and breathe out. Wiggle your fingers. Give your arms and legs a shake to loosen everything. And without hunching yourself over, just let your shoulders kind of get heavy and sag and, take them away from your ears. Close your eyes gently and, or just, let your gaze get hazy. Just kind of stare into nothingness. Just let every part of your body relax. We'll sit for the next roughly 10 minutes or 11 minutes. As we do, I invite you to consider this idea. Would letting go of a grudge that you're carrying by extending forgiveness benefit you? If so, how would that feel? We'll come back in about 10 minutes. It's time now, friends, to start coming together again and slowly, gently start returning to a state of greater awareness and consciousness. We have a few minutes so you can open your eyes slowly. Feel for some of you, this may have been cathartic, and for others, perhaps not, because you're not ready to occupy that forgiving space yet. I'm frankly not sure where I am, even though I wrote this meditation. No matter where you are emotionally, though, I think that the words of Rabbi Jill Berkson Zimmerman of Path with Heart will speak to you. I found this poem online called Prayer for Those Not Ready to Forgive. The weight of this season compels us to forgive and to open our hearts. There are many among us who have endured deep hurts this year, and some from many years ago. Some of us are not sure of the path forward amidst the prayers and pleadings of Yom Kippur to wipe the slate clean and start anew. For the woman who was violated, and for the man beaten down, and for anyone with a broken heart or a crushed soul who might not be quite ready to forgive. It's okay. Take your time. Sometimes the timetable of the high holy days doesn't match the rhythm of your heart. Sometimes our devoted prayers get intermingled with inner voices not quite resolved, such as, maybe it wasn't all that bad. Just let go. Let bygones be bygones. Be the bigger person. Or maybe I'm being too sensitive. This year, love yourself enough to trust your own timing. Be patient enough to stay in the place of not yet. You commit to the work of resolution, not being attached to an outcome or timetable. Trust that you will find your way forward, that you will come to a time where holding on hurts more than letting go. Forgive yourself for not being yet ready. From that place of total acceptance, may you have faith that the path will open up. Gemara Tov, everybody. Have an easy fast if you're fasting. Thank you for being with me, and I look forward to seeing you again. Shana Tova.